And we are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jeremy with the Parenting Program. And we just wrapped up with another Tony Robbins seminar. We went to Wealth Mastery. Now, this is virtual, so we got to do it from home. But, oh, hey, look, we got registered in time. They sent us the Tony Robbins Wealth Mastery virtual workbook. And this thing is full of exercises, information, charts, ways to get to some clarity. And part of the program, they actually sent us the financial blueprint. They talk about the 4 forces of wealth mastery. And again, this has to go through and do some do some check marks and do some questions and figure out some things so that you can really get clear on where are you and what's going on with your finances. I have a couple of things I want to show you just real quick. And obviously I'm not going to give away everything that Tony did because I paid a lot of money to go there and so did a lot of other people. And well, it's copyrighted material and it's something that they've dedicated their lives to building and creating. And I'm not going to be one of those people that steals other people's content and rips it off and tries to claim that it is theirs. So, but the one thing I want to share with you, determining your overall score, this is looking at a couple different areas and variables. And the cool part is you make a little plot point about your current financial blueprint and they give you a blank one. And the goal of that really is, one of the concepts Tony Robbins talks about is see it as it is, not worse than it is. And it's really important you get to clarity. Where are you now and where do you want to be in the future? Then you got to document that stuff and you got to write it down and you got to be honest. Again, don't make it worse than it is. Don't dial over the stage. Don't crippling debt. Really, your legs don't work because of the debt that you have. Or is it a mental weight that you are carrying, right? And so if you guys aren't familiar, Tony Robbins, have you been living under a rock? He's been in the personal development world about 40 years now at this point, 42, I believe. He started around 17, 18 years old, delivering content and doing workshops and seminars. And he's a very interesting person, has led a very interesting life. The thing, love him, hate him, the thing you can talk about Tony is that he continues to grow as a person and share his growth and share his realizations. I have been following a lot of his material for a very long time. I'm actually certified in a lot of the same material that he is, specifically the neurolinguistic programming, in hypnotherapy, as well as neurostrategies. So he and I can do a lot of the similar skills, interventions, releasing trauma, integrating things, not curing, because in my model of the world, there is no cure for that kind of stuff because there's nothing wrong or broken. It's just a pattern of thought, a pattern of behavior, a pattern of meaning. And as we change that stuff, it changes how we show up, right? If you think this is the end and this is the worst it's ever been, well, then you're right. But if you think this is the beginning of a new adventure and a new opportunity, well, you're right, because it's the story you tell that determines your life and your future. So when we talk about wealth mastery, right, there's 3 things that we are told, Kat, there are 3 things that we are told not to talk about in polite society: religion, politics, and money. Now, I think that's interesting advice. That's an interesting point of view, and I get it. Talking about net worth, a lot of people tie their self-worth to their net worth. And I know I've been guilty of that myself. And as a masculine person, being driven to protect and to provide and to produce and to create. And then Merlin, excuse me a second. Dude. So the blind cat has gotten himself on the second shelf of the bookcase and is nervous about getting back down. I'll be right back. You want to come see what you guys are doing? You're a dork. You're adorable, but you're a dork. So when we tie our net worth to our self-worth, as a masculine person, protect, provide, produce, not having money or not producing money or not being able to retain money can be emasculating. You can feel like you're less than, you're unworthy, undeserving, because if I was XYZ, then the results would be blah, blah, blah. And that's not exactly true. That is actually BS. It's a belief system. Just because you haven't produced certain results or haven't been able to retain, there's a reason. There is programming. There is encoding. There is stuff in your past that has impacted your life. And that was one of the things that we dove into, really, is talking about your money blueprint. And what do you really believe about money? What is money? Is it a tool? Is it oppression? Is it never enough? Is it abundant? Is it a toy? Is it playful? Is it joy? right? Different people have different models, different meanings they attach. And because of that, it drives their behavior and it drives their impact and it drives what they do in the world. The truth is, money doesn't have any loyalty or love for anyone or anything. It doesn't go to where it's needed. It goes to where it's wanted. It goes to where it's taken care of and where it is amplified, where it is grown. And there are specific ways to do that. And so that was part of the workshop, right? Talking about getting to clarity there. And we had a ton of really great speakers, different frames of reference, different types of tools, talking about investing and strategizing. Personally, I've taken this workshop actually in person in Fiji in 2011. My whole life was imploding in 2011, just a lot of really, really horrible stuff. And fortunately for me, I had some great support systems and people that were willing to invest in me to get the help that I needed to get where I am now and to be who I am now. And taking wealth mastery in Fiji, my trainer was a guy named Scott, and he is still connected in Tony Robbins' world. And Scott's amazing. He gave a lot of really great insight, and he wasn't involved in this particular workshop. He was at the UPW review we did, and we'll put it over there in post-production. But we did a UPW, Unleash the Power Within, in March with Cousin Sam. We talked about that experience, but Scott was one of the presenters there. And so with Wealth Mastery, really getting to clarity, what does money represent to you? And then how do you start to work with it in a way that is sustainable? And why this is really important. Remember I said earlier, the three things we don't talk about is politics, we don't talk about religion, we don't talk about money. It's because two reasons. One, a lot of people's identities are tied in. And when you challenge their beliefs, you challenge their thoughts about a thing, it's very easy for people to take that personally, and you're attacking them instead of challenging some of their thoughts or some of their feelings or some of their experience. And it can get ugly real fast. So don't talk about money because people can feel insignificant. Don't talk about religion because that gets into, eternal salvation, and people will literally kill for their religions in some cases. Don't talk about politics because, again, sometimes people will kill for their politics. Please understand, though, money is the result of a belief system. Politics and religion is also a belief system. And so you're people are wanting to hurt other people for the way they think versus engage, have a conversation. Here's why I think and feel the way that I do based on these experiences. And this is how it's helped enhance my life. And we can respectfully share our differences and share our perspective and maybe learn something from each other versus you don't agree with me, you have to die. I find that when we take people out who have different points of view or different opinions, the world, we lose something versus let's engage that thought because it came from somewhere. And by engaging with it, really shining it in the light, you can change it. Now, the other reason why I don't talk, religion, money, and politics is that advice we're being given peer to peer, or is that from the top coming down? Because see, if we're all educated on politics and we're all educated on religion and we're all educated on money, it begins to change the power structure, right? For a very large piece of human history, the many have been ruled by the few. The 1%, the 2%, they control the world. In fact, the French Revolution, there were 3 estates. The first estate was the royalty and the nobles and lords and all that kind of stuff. So there was all the feudal lords. So that was the first estate. The second estate was the church and then the religious institutions that had control of a lot of land and a lot of money. And then 98% of the population was the third estate, the unmentionable, the